everybody. It's 3 p.m., maybe a minute or two after. I am running later than normal. And anyway, it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby, whether it's 3 o'clock or 3:02. But 3:02 kind of stresses me out because I always like to hit that live button right at 3 o'clock so that you know that you can always depend on me. So I am making rose harissa. Hey Joy, so nice to have you back again. Thanks for being here yesterday and today. And I have found this out with regards to making certain things, which is, hey Frank, if I am making or using chilies, whether they're hatch chilies, whether they're dried chilies, once my fingers hit those chilies and I forget hours later that I have been working with chilies and I go to wipe my eye or touch something, the oils from those chilies are still on my fingers and my eye begins to burn. And so just heed a warning, today we are working with guajillo chilies, which I'm gonna go show you that package really quickly. Let me see where I put it, right here. So these are guajillo chilies. I'd actually never heard of them before, but they're very, very common. Had to ask my lovely Maria, who's been with me for 26 years now, exactly what they were. And chipotle chilies and New Mexico chilies. And they are very, very, very hot. So as I take them out and chop them roughly, for what I'm making today, I'm definitely going to be putting on the rubber gloves until I get them into the food processor, and then we'll see what happens. So today I am making Yotam Ottolenghi's rose harissa, and I am making blistered green beans with blistered tomatoes. So my tomatoes will be walking in the door any minute, but until they do, let me talk to you about the rose harissa. So, or actually, before I bring up the rose harissa, let me talk to you very quickly about last night's recipe. So I am telling you right now that that recipe was without question the most delicious thing I believe that I have ever made. Hey Lene, nice to see you. Hey Susan, thank you so much for being here. It's Susan Foreman. So let me tell you about it. Number one, it was one skillet. Oh my gosh, can't even think of what it was right now. Hey Lisa, I'm so flustered right now over this rose harissa and the tomatoes that I'm forgetting. Can somebody remind me what last night's recipe was? It was one skillet. Oh my gosh. Chicken thighs for sure. Hi, Jim Benvenuti. Tell me what I made yesterday. I've already posted. It was there. Anyway, it'll come to one of us, I'm sure. It is the most delicious thing I've ever made in my chicken puttanesca. Thank you, Lisa. Oh my God. Hey, Heather, two sisters here, Heather and Susan. Thank you for being here. So yes, that chicken puttanesca. So I have this, thank you so much. I have this joke that I use with my family, which is if you've ever been to In-N-Out Burger and you walk into the restaurant and you sit down to eat, you will notice that there is not one person talking in the restaurant. Everybody literally has their face in the hamburger and the french fries and the milkshake if you get one, and absolutely nobody is talking, which is hilarious to me. And so last night when we sat down to eat the chicken puttanesca, I noticed after about 3-4 minutes, hi Lene, I noticed that we were not talking, we were just eating, and we were making noises like, oh, this is so good. And I mean, we were going on and on and on. And my husband turns to me and he says, this is kind of like In-N-Out Burger in here. We're not talking, we're just oohing and awing. And so we had a big laugh about it, and it really was true. So I adjusted the recipe. I'm waiting for it to be done in our format to post and gather. It's not quite done yet, but as soon as it gets done, I will post it and gather. I added extra tomato paste. The recipe called for 2 or 4 tablespoons, but I increased it to 6. And I lowered the water because I found that the sauce was just a little too watery. So I went to about 2/3 cup of water and extra tomato sauce. Also, I think that certainly Yotam Ottolenghi taught us early in the day when I started cooking that tomato paste with whatever it was that I made from him, which I can't think of right now, browning that tomato paste and getting the acid out of the paste and caramelizing it really makes a big, big difference. So anyway, on to the Rose Harissa, everybody. So happy to move on. So this blistered green beans with tomatoes, honey, harissa, and mint is a pretty easy recipe. And so because of that, of course, I can't do anything really easy. I have to complicate everything and go that extra mile. Some days I drive myself totally crazy. And today was one of them, which is why I was so flustered. So I wanted to make the Rose Harissa that Yotam Ottolenghi has as one of his condiments in his recipe book. So that having been said, we're going to make the Rose Harissa first, and then we will move on and make the green beans blistered. And by the time Megan gets back with my tomatoes, hopefully we'll just be moving into the green beans. So yes, I went to the grocery store and got everything today. Hey, Nancy Kalujan is here. And completely forgot the tomatoes and also forgot to take my son's shoes, which I needed to drop at FedEx. I mean, I lost my mind this morning. So, okay, are you ready? I'm going to put on the gloves because we're working with chilies. And I mentioned, if you're just joining us, that often when I work with chilies, I forget and I end up touching my eye at some point, and it could be hours later, but the seeds of chilies, the oil in those seeds, when your hands touch them, they just don't give way. So the first thing that I have done, and I need to pull out this recipe because, you know, the thing about Yotam, I love everything that he does, but they're so complicated that they look easy or they sound easy when you're reading the ingredients, but he always has a very intense way to cook things, which I began before you got here. So let me just tell you once again, I used the guajillo chilies, and the recipe called for ancho chilies. I went to 3 markets this morning to find ancho, and I could not find it. So I'm using chipotle because the way that he described the ancho chilies is that they were very smoky, and they added a smoky flavor, as do chipotles. So they had chipotles, and so I substituted the chipotles, which I think will be perfectly fine. So this is how we started. In a saucepan, and I just want you to know, after coughing again yesterday without an exhaust fan, I literally began this yesterday or today over there on the stove and got it over with so that I did not take a big inhale of the smoke of the chilies, which would have had me coughing for hours, as well as the coriander, cumin, and sesame seeds, which I've already toasted in the pan. This pan started with the guajillo chilies, 4 cloves of garlic, and the chipotle chilies. Then after toasting them for about 2 minutes, I stuck them in this bowl, and I just want to show you what these guajillo chilies look like. There you go. Nice and big, very big, very, very, very hot smelling, but delicious. And the minute you put them in this saucepan, which I did before the seeds, and start heating them up, you can start to smell how amazing it is. So after I toasted, let me take this top off, and you'll understand why in just a moment that I put this plate on there. You can really smell it. Once they started toasting, you can really smell it. I took out the 4 cloves of garlic right there because you don't need to rehydrate the garlic, but I needed to rehydrate these chilies, which were dried chili pods. So what we're gonna do, I covered them in boiling water, and I put the plate on top to submerge them under the boiling water so that they would rehydrate. A minimum of 30 minutes was what was requested by Yotam. I was watching his video and I felt like he was talking just to me. And now I am gonna go ahead and drain them. So there we go, right into the strainer. Alrighty, I'm gonna pour, woo! I'm gonna cough again because literally just draining the liquid, woo! Hey. That's my imitation of a Jewish sneeze. I apologize. Anyway, there we go. That liquid got to me. I did not touch my face. I had my hands off. I don't know if you could see me. Okay, that was enough of that. Here comes Megan. Thank you so much. All righty. Do you want to just give those a rinse for me right over here? Thank you, Megan. God bless her for that one. All right. Perfect. Good girl. All right. Boy, it feels good to have an intern these days, let me tell you. All right, so let me just pull this. Be careful, Megan, with that liquid. It just made me sneeze terrible. I purposely didn't do this with the smoke today just so I wouldn't sneeze or cough, and then I did. So what can I tell you? So here are the chilies. They're all rehydrated. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off these stems because we don't need to chop those up. Hey, Sue Plattner, so nice to see you. And I'm going to throw these. I need my compost basket for those. Okay, let me take off the stems. There we go. And then I'm going to give these just a rough chop, which hopefully does not cause me to start sneezing or coughing. So I toasted these again in a saucepan or a fry pan, saute pan, over the stove where I had an exhaust pan. And what I'm definitely going to be doing is I'm definitely going to be buying a little small exhaust fan that I can put up right over here so that when I am cooking things that are smoky and require that, I will be able to turn that on and hopefully blow it out the other direction. And when I do the remodel, just reaching for my knife, when I do the remodel on this kitchen, I'm definitely hoping that when I put the new burner system here, rather than using the one that I took from my sister and have yet to give back to her, God bless her for giving it to me, thanks Heather, temporarily. It's just a temporary loan that I've had for over a year now, that what we're gonna do is it will have an exhaust fan. Okay, so enough about the chilies. What color is your lipstick? I love you, Lisa. So Lisa has been one of my oldest friends, my best friend since I was 8 years old. And we talk, the topic of our conversation is always our lipstick color, which we've had that discussion since we were 12 or 13 or 14 years old. But prior to that discussion, it was all about boys, right? Because that's what we were into. When we were 8 or 9 years old, we were definitely boy crazy even back then. And so our topic of conversation has always been boys and lipstick. So this is the same lipstick I wear every day, but I didn't have time to touch it up. I just put lipstick over it because I didn't know what to do because I was so flustered. I guess it's a winner, right? It's just a lip liner, which is called Beat by MAC, and my L'Oreal pink lipstick, which I don't even, 165, number 165. Okay, so here, Jim Benvenuti and Frank, you must be loving this discussion, right? Okay, here are the chipotle chilies. Great. So here's the thing. You may not want the seeds. These hydrated really nicely. They're very easy to cut into. And we're just giving these a rough chop so that they go into the food processor. And then we're gonna take the garlic that was in with this, and we are going to, here we go. Oh my gosh. All right, so here is the garlic right here. You see how nice and caramelized the garlic got? And again, I took the garlic out of the saute pan. Frank says no comment. I don't blame you, Frank. It's a safe way to be. There's the garlic. We're gonna just throw that in because it will get chopped up. Okay. Alrighty. Just, let me get this here, that there. All right, so the very next thing that we are gonna do is, these would be much better off if they were hot right now, but they are not. And I'm gonna get rid of this cutting board right this minute. Maybe, could you rinse that off for me? You're a sweetheart, thank you. Oh my God, and can you dump that water for me? Be careful, because it's very, very pungent. Okay, and so now I'm going to, yeah, just be careful because the fumes will make you sneeze. as they did me right when you walked in the door. Okay, so this is the seed. Now, again, I put the cumin, coriander, and sesame seed right in the same pot that I had toasted, or the same saute pan that I had toasted the chilies. And that way it picked up the caramelized flavor that we got from the chilies. Now, I want to tell you, there's a secret coming, because you see this? What does that say? Oh, it got you. It got Megan. It wasn't just me. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. We are going to use the rose petals in this rose harissa recipe, which I was so grateful to find. Usually you can only find it in Middle Eastern delis, which I'm not sure Vegas has any, and I'm sure it does. I just haven't been there. Whew, I know that those fumes are getting to me. But I did find it on Amazon. So not only are we going to be using the rose petals, but we're also going to use this fabulous rose water. If you can see that, rose water. There we go. And we're going to put that in the harissa as well. So I'm very excited about it. All right, so into the mortar and pestle, we've got the coriander and the sesame and the cumin. And we're just going to grind these up. Can you see me? You can. I'll just tilt that. That's really not the most wonderful thing about this mortar and pestle, is that it tilts and turns whichever way you need to get into it. So let's take this. Okay, so let me just look down for just a minute and read this recipe, and cannot remember off the top of my head. Hey Cynthia, I know you're here. So I do want to promo Cynthia and I. Cynthia and I, it looks like we are going to be not at the lavender farm, but we are going to the dragon fruit farm on Monday. Dragon fruit farm, say that fast 3 times, on Monday from Fallbrook, which is right in the Temecula area. And we're going to interview the farmer. I spoke to him today, and he's just checking to make sure he doesn't have a dentist appointment. So I hope that he does, or hope that he doesn't rather, and we can get in and see him. Okay, so this is nicely ground up, as you can see. All righty. Okay, so let me just quickly read. Let's see, pour enough boiling water, roughly chop the chilies, add them to the bowl of a food processor. Meanwhile, add the cumin, coriander, and caraway seeds to the same pan, which I did explain. Toast over medium-high heat until fragrant they were. Transfer the seeds to a mortar and pestle. Have done that, roughly crush them, and add them to the food processor along with the chopped chilies, the garlic, tomato paste, again, rose petals, sugar, and chili powder, okay? And if not chili powder, I'm gonna add smoked paprika. So here we go. We're gonna add the coriander, the cumin, and that smells so good. I'm scared to smell anything for fear of starting to cough and sneeze again. Okay, into the food processor with all of this. This was, let me tell you how much of each seed that I used, just so that you know. Okay, here we go. And if I can hand this to you, Megan. Yeah, I think I need the bowl back, if you don't mind. If you can just rinse that and then just dry it. Okay, let me just move this so all of you can see. Okay, so we are going to use, the coriander, chilies, garlic, tomato paste. And how much tomato paste are we? A tablespoon of tomato paste. This is the tomato paste from last night's dinner as well. So usually I open up a tube and it goes bad. Okay, there's about a tablespoon, maybe a little more. And apparently he doesn't call for this to be caramelized, this go around. And I put in 4 garlic cloves, 2 teaspoons of the cumin seeds toasted, 1 tablespoon of the coriander seeds toasted, and 1.5 teaspoons of caraway seeds. Tomato paste, and now I'm gonna get rid of these, because I do not want to contaminate, if you will, the rose petals with the chili. So, okay, here we go. Ready? Let's look inside this fabulous rose petal bag, and we are going to put in 1 tablespoon of dried rose petals. So this is called, if you were able to see it, it was called Egyptian rose petals from the Fayum Oasis. Do you see that? Isn't that interesting? And this is just going to give it just a really, really sweet, sweet, sweet flavor. So here, let's open this up so that we'll be able to reseal it. Okay. All right. So let's give you a peek inside. Isn't that beautiful? See that? I love rose petals. And I will tell you that this is the very first dish that I've ever made that I put them in. So this is about a tablespoon of the rose petals. Is that what I said? Yes, 1 tablespoon dried rose petals. And I'm going to crush them between my fingers to release the oils. There we go. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're going to put 1.5 teaspoons of sugar to help sweeten it just a little bit, which I just put in. And we are going to put in the smoked paprika for a little bit of color. Use about a teaspoon of that. 1.5 teaspoons to be exact. There we go. I wish we had music playing in the background because this is so dramatic. Okay, garlic tomato paste, rose petals, sugar, chili powder. Pulse a few times until roughly chopped and combined. Okay, ready? Here we go. Stand back, everybody. Who knows if we're gonna cough or not? Okay, ready? Here we go. Pulse this. Down for all of you, and trying not to have to replace another piece of this. There we go. I'm gonna boy, I will tell you, I have never coughed so much as these Yotam Ottolenghi recipes. I can tell you that. Okay, now that I push this down, let me one more time give it a pulse and get it combined just a little bit more. Go. All right, and then after that, roughly chopped and combined, we're gonna add the lemon juice, about 1.5 teaspoons of rose water. So ready? Here we go with this beautiful rose water. Oh my gosh. It smells just like Joy perfume. Lisa will know what I'm talking about, because we used to talk about boys, lipstick, and Joy perfume. Okay, ready? Okay. There we go. There's about 1 teaspoon of the rose water. Absolutely fantastic. And now we're going to take this lemon and we're going to squeeze the lemon. So one of the things that I forgot to do yesterday, which Megan noted when we hung up, or not, yeah, I guess when we hung up, I'm losing my mind today. When we said goodbye in the show, is that I forgot to mention that last night I did use strips of lemon rind and put that into the puttanesca sauce. And boy, I will tell you that those lemon rinds really, they were just 2-inch strips of lemon rinds that went into the puttanesca sauce. And they just flavored that puttanesca sauce along with the capers and the olives. And I will tell you that I put those chicken thighs on a medium-high cast iron skillet to brown them, and it just caramelized. It was just beautiful. As you saw, the picture was absolutely darling. And delicious, 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 delicious. And in my comments of the recipe, I wrote, nothing has ever touched my lips more delicious than that recipe, I'm telling you. Okay, there we go. All the lemon juice is in. And the rose water is in. I need 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Grabbing this from the refrigerator. So 4 tablespoons is about 2 ounces. Let's see, rose petal sugar, pulse a few times, add the lemon juice, half of the rose water, the cider vinegar, and half of the olive oil. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nothing better than apple cider vinegar. That is made by Megan's dad, we found out. He works at the company that makes this, which is, actually he makes a different form of it, of Bragg's, but he definitely plays a role in all that, right? We were very happy to find that out yesterday. Coincidence, right? All right, now we're gonna add 2 ounces, which is half of the olive oil that it calls for, and a pinch of salt. Here we go. And we're gonna start pulsing this. There we go. And a pinch of salt. So I'm gonna pinch about a half a teaspoon, actually, because I think that with the spice of this, I think I just put in a full teaspoon. With the spice of this, I think that it needs more salt. The way that I like it very spicy. Hey, Sam, happy to see you here. Okay, and now we are going to add the rest of the rose water. There we go. That's amazing. And we're probably going to use this when we put it on top of the green beans. We're going to sprinkle the rose petals on top. Hey, Lindsay, nice to see you. So I have scheduled with Harissa for tomorrow, which is, we're doing a fabulous watermelon aqua fresca. And I'm very excited. She was one of our winners. Frank, we're doing in August 18th or 19th. I forgot to check that. But we're doing that. But Lindsay, you and I have not scheduled. But on Thursday, tomorrow, I am picking the winner of the fabulous 6 people who are going to be getting the Temecula olive oil box from Nanny Bubby. So who will be the winner tomorrow? And on top of that, oh my gosh, it is hot. Okay, so I am going to do this. I'm gonna leave it in the food processor for now, because this recipe, as we move on to the blistered green beans with the honey, harissa, and mint, is that this only requires all this work, and it only requires two tablespoons of harissa, if you can imagine. But I just think it's just so beautiful, and there's really no easy way to make harissa, but this is one of the most amazing chili pastes. It's a Middle Eastern chili paste that comes out of Tunisia, and it is just very common in the Middle East. They use it, you can put it in soups to add flavor to soups. You can put it, mix your vegetables in it, which we're gonna do with the green beans in just a minute. And so there's a lot to really enjoy about the harissa. Okay, moving on. I do need the cutting board, which Megan did, and I need, if you don't mind, a paper towel. Okay, so here we go. Thank goodness for Megan here today. Saved the show. Saved all of you enjoying a much better experience, hopefully. Okay, so let me move this as far off as I can. I just need this first, thank you. Just cleaning up. Like Wolfgang Puck said, clean up your mess. And I cannot do a German accent, so I don't know what accent that was. Whatever it was, you get my drift. Okay, all right, there we go. Thank you so much. All right, so let's move on now to these blistered tomatoes and blistered green beans. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with harissa, honey, and lime juice. So, don't sit down, Megan, because I need a glass bowl over here. Whatever you do, don't sit down again. Let's see, how about the little one? All right, thank you. Let's see what's next. So we're gonna combine 2 tablespoons of the harissa, which I think I can actually take right out of here. There's 1.5, and there's about 2. Thank you, my dear. There we go. All right, there's our harissa. And then we're gonna take 2 teaspoons of honey in order to soften this, which I think is a great idea in this particular recipe. There's 1. And there's 2. And we're gonna put just a little more in because we have so much of the honey that actually sticks to the spoon. So about 2.5 teaspoons of honey, and then 1 tablespoon of lime juice, which actually would come off of 1 lime. Do you see my knife anywhere? Yep, thank you. Yeah, it's okay. We're just gonna deal with it. How about if you give me that clean one right there? Are we having fun yet? Just a small one. Anyone? There you go, that's good. All right. Let's see, what else? Oh, Eva Kalik is here. Nice to see you, Eva. And let's see, who else did I miss? Teresa's here. And Eva said, when would you use black garlic instead of white? Got a jar at Trader Joe's. You know, I think they're interchangeable. I think black garlic is probably really, really stronger. But I think that, like in a dish like this, I think black garlic would really give it that extra heavy, smoky garlic flavor. But I've actually never worked with black garlic. I'd actually have to look that up, Eva, but that was a great question. It makes me want to look it up now. Teresa's here. Teresa, I'm going to be sending you a Zoom link later today so that we can sign in tomorrow. We can get ready to make our watermelon fresca cooler and aqua fresca cooler. And tomorrow we'll pick. I wish I could let Teresa put her hand in to pick it and pick the winner, but she can't because she's one of the people that are being listed. So we can't do that. Anyway, she's going to be in Reno, so we're doing a Zoom. She won't be able to do it. We'll let Megan pick. How's that, Megan? Good. Yeah, okay. All righty, so there we go. We're going to now take this bowl of 2 tablespoons of harissa, and lime juice and honey, 2.5 teaspoons of honey, and just set it aside. And we're gonna start, and we're going to take this cast iron skillet right here. Let me just turn you. There we go. And we're gonna start by heating this up. So there we go. All right, putting the honey back where I grabbed it from. And I'm going to use the lemon-flavored olive oil on this because I just think with the green beans that this lemon olive oil is just going to be fantastic. So here we go. About 2 tablespoons of the olive oil. We're going to start heating it up. And what you look for when you heat up the olive oil is you're looking for the olive oil to shimmer. Okay, there we go. And now, let's see. Add the green beans and cook undisturbed, until they began to char in spots for about 3 minutes. And then we're going to continue to cook, and we're going to toss them frequently until the beans are just cooked through and slightly blistered. And that's what we're looking for, because not only are we going to blister the green beans, but we are going to blister the tomatoes, which Megan, did you find them at Smith's or did you find them at Albertsons? Smith's, great, awesome. I have Smith's right on the corner, and then Albertsons kind of tucked in, but they're both kind of equal distance, but I thought Smith's was the easiest one to send you to. Okay, maybe just a little more. Okay, starting to shimmer now. Alrighty, can you see that, everybody? There we go. Alrighty. So I'm looking forward to meeting Cynthia in Fallbrook, and I'm really excited to go to this dragon fruit farm. So how many of you experienced dragon fruit? I actually have never. I always confuse dragon fruit with passion fruit, but they obviously are 2 very different things. And so I'm really, really interested to find out how they're grown, how much water they take. Hey, Bobby Robbins, so nice to have you here. Let me turn this up one more time and grab the tongs. There we go. And we're just going to let these sit, and we're going to let them start to blister. And I do not believe that we remove them. So if you just joined us, we just made rose harissa, and we made it with rose petals, and we made it with rose water, which is right there. and it is absolutely smells heavenly. We used guajillo chilies, and we should have used ancho chilies, but I could not find them anywhere today, so I used chipotle, because ancho are very good at having a smoky flavor, so I thought that the chipotles would be absolutely great. Nothing more delicious than blistered green beans. Thank you. Love the lemon olive oil idea. Yeah, I thought it was really good too. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, so we're going to toss frequently, about 5 to 6 minutes. Some will be more cooked than others. That's okay. Season with salt and place the beans in a bowl. So I do have a bowl ready to go. And then probably we're going to blister the tomatoes. Cynthia says she's never tasted dragon fruit. She has a couple of plants, but she needs to learn how to grow them. So excited to visit the dragon fruit farm. I know, I love this. So Cynthia and I always feel like we are Thelma and Louise on a big adventure. She has so turned me on to that area of California, which is the Temecula area, and we've visited Temecula Olive Oil Company. We visited the avocado farm. We wanted to go to the lavender farm. That was our first choice this week as we adventure out. But the lavender season is over and it won't come back. They harvested all that beautiful lavender. But I will tell you, on our way to the Temecula Olive Oil farm, we literally drove by the lavender farms, and honestly, you just wanted to stop and inhale. Much better inhaling the lavender farm than inhaling Harissa, I can promise you that. Okay, we're going to let these blister. You can hear them. Can you hear them? There we go. So I think sometimes in cast iron, this is coated cast iron, and I think sometimes it might have been better to use a non-coated cast iron pan, because I think the blistering might have actually taken place faster. And up against that cast iron, without the coating, I think it adds to the blistering. But we'll just let these sit, and we'll let these go. So how many of you are going to join us on Monday at the dragon fruit farm? And let's see. Judy says there's a dragon fruit vitamin water, and it's her favorite flavor. Oh, very good. Very, very good. Well, we're going to learn all about dragon fruit and meet the farmer. His name is Leo, and let's hope he does not have a dentist appointment on that day. All right. Let's see if these are starting to blister. Not really. I'm going to turn them up one more. I guess the crackling is just going to have to crackle. There we go. All right. Put that over there. There we go. How many of you have ever, let's see, he also grows cherimoya. So what is cherimoya, Cynthia? Tell us what cherimoya is. So how many of you have ever cooked with rose petals or rose water before? Give me a 1 in the chat if you have. And if you haven't, give me a 2 in the chat just to keep you interactive. Keep you actively doing something while we're waiting for the blisters to come. So I can smell the lemon olive oil on this, which is really fantastic. Love this. Ah, there we go. You see that? See the blisters? There they go. All right, very good. It's another expensive fruit with lots of healthy benefits. Well, there you go. Got lots of 2s, not too many 1s. There's another recipe that I've seen that asks for the rose petals. So this is good until 2023. It is literally 4 ounces, and I'm just wondering what recipes I'm going to find just so that I can use these rose petals in. Or am I just maybe going to take a bath with rose petals? I don't know. We shall see. That sounds wonderful too, right? Doesn't that sound wonderful? Okay. These are starting to blister. Going to just give them a few more minutes. And then we're going to add the tomatoes. We're going to add just a little bit more of the lemon olive oil. Let's see who's joining us. Marty Greenwood is here. Hey Marty, so nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I love it when you show up. There's so many wonderful friends from past and present who sign on every day. I just want to share with you that Lene posted her taco charcuterie board in Gather, and it just made me laugh. It just put a smile on my face to think of this French word, charcuterie, which char means meat or flesh, meat flesh actually. That is the direct translation, and the coute, which would be C-U-I-T, but charcuterie leaves out the I. Which means cooked. And so it made me laugh to actually think that traditional charcuterie boards are smoked meat and cheeses and nuts and olives, etc. And it's very, very French, which makes me just chill because I love French. I love Italian, but I love French too. And but she turned it into a taco charcuterie. And so I got very inspired because I was looking for something to make next Friday on the Channel 8 show. And I thought, you know what? The only thing that is really inspiring me is this taco charcuterie board. So I called Lene, and Lene really inspired me because we started Googling together all these different boards, and she told me about how she had found this on Pinterest. And then she had a charcuterie board herself, which she's letting me borrow, which I'm so grateful for. It's just absolutely so beautiful. And so I'm ever so grateful to Lene for her post in Gather. So if you missed it, just look in Gather for Lene's charcuterie taco board. It was really great. Okay, so now I'm going to take these blistered green beans, move them out right into the bowl. Go. And I don't think I need to add oil to this. What we're going to add are the tomatoes now, getting all of the last green beans out of this. There we go. All right. And here come the tomatoes. And you can hear them blistering right when you pour them in. Marcy Kosher is here. Hey Marcy, thank you for being here. So, I need that exhaust fan. Here we go. So here we go. We are going to heat the remaining oil, add the tomatoes, and cook undisturbed until they also begin to char, about 1 minute. Then we're going to stir them frequently. So let's let them sit. And these really sucked up that oil, so I'm going to actually now add just a little bit more. Popping and blistering, we're going to come over here and we're going to chop this mint. So I have fabulous mint right out of Nanny Bubby's garden right here, and we're going to chop this mint because we're going to finish this dish with the mint. So here we go. Ready? Now I need that knife again. If you can just rinse it for me, the bigger one. Okay. Yep. There we go. Okay. Well, there's Biggie. There's Amazon and Biggie at the door. Very, very typical. Right? It's 3 o'clock. It's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby and time for Biggie to bark. Right? Biggie. All right. Biggie. Do I want you to what? Is there someone there? I I think it's this, but can you pet Biggie though and get him to stop barking? Just say it's okay, Biggie. All right, and if there is someone standing there, you can answer it, but if there's not, no, then it just means Amazon. I mean, what can I tell you guys? This is life, right? This is real. Okay, chopping up the mint. Okay. And let me thank you, Russell. These tomatoes are looking great. Okay. How many of you actually have Amazon ring your doorbell when you're watching me? Right? I bet you I'm not the only one. I bet you guys have your bells ringing as well. Oh, you can hear these popping. It's awesome. All right, then I'm going to turn it off and let them sit. All right. And what I'm going to do is I am actually going to use this pan as a serving pan. So, all right. Okay, so the mint is, and now let me turn you. Oh my gosh, what a mess we've got. But the messier, the better. Brenda says, Sophie heard Biggie and started looking for him. That's really sweet. Brenda took care of Biggie while I was gone. Hey Brenda, how are you? Okay, thank you for being here. Alrighty, so I've got, yep, we're going to season these with salt, and then I think we're finishing up. So if you're ready, here we go with the salt. You cannot see it, and that's not good. That's a very bad camera angle. Let me get you all into the mood with me. There we go. That's it. There we go. Whoops, the other way. There we go. Okay, how's that? You can see? Okay. There is the tomatoes, and now we're going to add back and add the green beans and the harissa and butter, which I forgot to get out of the, Megan is moving around today, let me tell you. Okay, so here we go. There's the green beans. This looks so beautiful, doesn't it? So, you know, during the holidays, I always like to make something that is red and green. Like the night of Christmas Eve or Christmas night, everything is green and red and green and red and green and red and green and red, except for the prime rib. But this looks very green and red. So we're going to spoon into a large bowl, and then we're going to put a mint garnish, and we are going to take our rose harissa. Well, actually, I'm going to put the butter in first because I think that sounds smarter to me. Delivered. My package with Poo-Pourri antibacterial hand sanitizer was just delivered. That's what the doorbell was. I just got a notification. You gotta love 2021. Okay, here we go. By the way, I love Poo-Pourri, not so much for it being the Poo-Pourri, but I love the hand sanitizer. It is the best smelling hand sanitizer. So if you're looking for a great hand sanitizer, because we're all back in mask and sanitizing, so sad. So if you're looking for something absolutely fabulous smelling, then definitely the Poo-Pourri hand sanitizer. So it just arrived. Maybe I'll ask Megan to go get it, and then we can open it. And I'll show it to you. I mean, why not? Megan sat down for a minute. That was a problem. So we'll get her up and moving again. Oh my gosh, poor Megan today. Okay, ready? So here goes the harissa and the honey and lime juice, which really just brings the acid. Remember that there are 4 things that we always season for. It's salt, sweet, spice, and acid, hot and acid. And so really, just the harissa with the lime juice, which is hot, which the lime juice is acid, and the honey was sweet. That is absolutely 3 of the 4. Did you find it? Oh, do you want to open it for me? Okay, so see the middle drawer? There's a blade in there. Okay. So, all right. go. That's it right there in a nutshell. And then we're going to take this mint and we're just going to sprinkle it on top, which is really great because it goes right on top of the red tomatoes, and they're just beautifully blistered. Let me just, I can't even lift them. They're still really hot. But they've all popped, almost all of them. What hasn't popped is red and caramelized. Okay, and now I'm going to show you the hand sanitizer, and then I'm going to taste these green beans. Okay, ready? Here we go. Can you hand me the whole bag? Yeah, there we go. Just okay. So there's one Poopery hand sanitizer. Then we've got right here in coconut and lavender in the pink bottle, and one more. There you go. I bet you didn't know this came in hand sanitizer, but it does. So that, and there's another one. Let's see. Oh, this is also coconut and lavender, but it is glittery, who doesn't want glitter? When you're all about your lipstick, you definitely want a glittery bottle with hand sanitizer. Okay, are you guys ready? Give me a 1 if you want me to taste it. Are you ready? Give me a 1. Oh my gosh. There's definitely spice from the Harissa, but the honey really tempered it. Oh my gosh. So good. All right, one more. Let's try one of the tomatoes from down at the bottom. Let me see if I can pull it out and just blow on it a little bit. Okay, ready? Hi, Heidi. So delicious. The Harissa with the lime, you really taste it. It's so good. Definitely. No, I'm not picking up the mint flavor. I am not. So I would say, thank you for asking that, Judy. I think I need to sprinkle more and try just one more bite, because maybe I'm hungry after all this. All this watching Megan run around. There you go. There you go. I added more mint, and that really made a difference. So that's it. Our last bite because I have to, because it's so good. Also last bite because I'm so glad today is over. Wow. Remind me next time I tell you that I'm doing a Yotam Ottolenghi recipe, just remind me to start the day before, because even though it's like, oh, those 6 ingredients, no big deal, I'll get done in time. And that did not happen today. So anyway, here's some reminders. Number 1, tomorrow, we are of our 6 winners. All right, here we go. Must have caught some of the chili. Jennifer Tuttle, we had a crazy day here today, but we sure had fun. I did anyway. I'm just choking and coughing and sneezing, but beyond that, the dish is delicious. Also, just wanted to remind all of you that last night's dinner was absolutely more delicious than you can imagine. Very soon we'll be posting that recipe up in Gather. As soon as it's complete, I did have to adjust it, so Brenda was just a little bit delayed in getting it posted for all of you. But once it hits Look and Gather, it will be there. Tomorrow we're picking whether it is Lene, who's next? Lucy, Lindsay, Judy Woods, Teresa, and Frank. Those are the 6. One of those 6 are going to win a Temecula olive oil box gifted to them by Nanny Bubby, which is perfect because I'm going to be at the Laguna Temecula olive oil store where I can order it and get it sent to you straight off. And Teresa and I tomorrow are making her watermelon aqua fresca drink. I will be sending Teresa her Zoom link very shortly. And I can't wait to see all of you tomorrow. And I'm going to enjoy this meal, actually with salmon. And I'm going to go run off and go grab that charcuterie board from Lene anytime this afternoon. I think I'm going to make it. So, very good to see you on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go out and spread love like butter. Love you guys. Thank you for being here through all of this. Love you. Bye. Thanks, Roseanne.